Next, I'd like to invite Professor Elizabeth Kucinich.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's so wonderful to be with you, to be back amongst friends, and I'm so happy that I've recruited 19 new people to join, and just now I got a text message to say the 20th has just signed up and is flying in tomorrow. So yes. Yay! I keep pushing, thank goodness for free communication on WhatsApp, that's all I can say. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this soul tribe that understands that we are here to fulfill a mission that's much greater than ourselves, and that's much more inspiring than the problems that we see. And there's a little saying that I heard many years ago, and that really reflects all the time in my mind, that we're not so much victims of the world we see, but of the way that we see the world. And as someone who was brought up in the Christian tradition primarily, I go back to the story of the Garden of Eden in Genesis. And the way that we interpret that story in the West is really indicative of the way that we move our society forward. Do we have dominion over the world, or are we stewards of the world? And I think that that place of dichotomous thinking, is it one way or the other, has led us into so many different directions, some of it constructive for the restoration and protection of land, and others taking us down a completely different path, which maybe is one of the key causes of desertification, overproduction, of the subjugation of humanity, of the subjugation of the earth. So coming from that understanding in my own mind, and of course acknowledging all the different traditions that are in this room and in the world, we have an opportunity to choose. We have an opportunity to choose abundance or scarcity, regeneration or extraction. And I would like to acknowledge the joy that I get in this conference, in the fact that we are bringing together the ideas of money and finance, of land, of security, of peace, and of the opportunity to really be creating a world and responding to our highest calling, as opposed to responding to the challenges that we face and the problems that we see. We see a real failure in Western thought. Let's say we have this terminology, the war on. We'll talk about debating each other rather than sharing ideas. We have a war on weeds when it comes to agriculture. We have a war on cancer when it comes to health. We have a war on terror where we don't understand what other communities are doing and thinking. And that we understand, what we resist persists. It comes back at us a millionfold. We are losing all of these battles because we are coming from the wrong place within ourselves. What we have to understand is complexity and diversity and the beauty in these systems. And to be able to think ecologically in terms of cycles will be a way to lead us forward, and to embrace the things that we do not understand, instead of slash burning and poisoning them on the land, slash burning and poisoning them in our body as part of a healthcare system, slash burning and poisoning them in the form of physical war that we manifest with our military machines. We can be looking more wholesomely at truly regenerating the world, and it comes from regenerative thought. So in this approach that I would like to extend to you, and maybe we bring into the spirit of all of our dialogues, which I know is really why we're here, I think it's very important that we also look at how we address the challenges that we face. How the paradigm of problem-solution analysis has completely failed us. We're all told, and often when we apply for jobs, oh, we have to be good at solving problems. Yay, great, you're good at solving problems. Whoopee, that means all you can see is problems. I want to see opportunities. Where do we want to go? And there's an approach called appreciative inquiry. An appreciative inquiry takes this as a median line, and underneath we have all of our problems, and up here we have all of our strengths. Now, it's not that we have to ignore our problems, but let's see where we want to go as a society. Let's strengthen the strengths that we have in ourselves, in our ecology, in our thinking, and move forward. If we're constantly looking at the problems, and the problems create our solutions, and the solutions are where we're putting our energy, that literally means that our problems are determining the trajectory of our future. That's not wholesome, and that, to me, is not what we really want to do when we're trying to create a new world. So if we can look at strengthening our strengths and moving into that space, we will be able to see the problems go away. We can address the issues such as climate change, but with a completely different level of thought. When we understand climate change as being something which is frightening and it's causing us to have our planting seasons changing and our resiliency levels are failing and all of these different things, when we come at it from fear, we can be immobilized by it. We can really have this feeling of, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do, and we can become anxious. Now, I live in the United States where the vast proportion of people are on antidepressants. We're so focused on our problems and we're so focused on needing to survive that we're not really looking at the opportunities that we face to thrive. Now, climate change is being caused by this wonderful blanket of gases around the planet. Is it bad? Absolutely it is. But it's also a blessing, because we have so badly managed our lands that our soils are deplete of carbon. Now, if we slightly change our form of focus and we see this carbon in the atmosphere as being a natural resource now, which of course is pollution, but now it's a resource that's freely available to humanity. If we harness our logic, our thinking, our wisdom, and our understanding of science, and the wisdom of nature through photosynthesis and soil, we can close the carbon cycle. We can bring it back down. Now, isn't that great that there's this free resource up there that can help us to regenerate our lands, that can help our farmers to create resiliency in our fields, that can help us to move forward and truly recreate the Garden of Eden? If we have a slight shift in thinking, we can be elevated in the way that we address these very, very harsh global challenges. I've been working with some of the program managers in the arena in looking at how we can also harness a different kind of thought in the way that we finance these projects. So I first started my life as a lobbyist when I was not even 2 digits. I wasn't even 10. I think I must have been 8 or 9. I really wanted to change things in Parliament in London. I wanted to become an environmentalist. I wanted to know what it was that was causing the greatest damage and then how we could really address those issues. And I soon came to understand that the way we create money, the literal birthing of money into the system as a debt, so all those dollars, pounds, euros, Swiss francs that we see generally are a debt. They're not a neutral medium of exchange. They are a debt that has accumulation of interest on every day that it's circulating in a system. Now, how can we create abundance? How can we create regenerative communities, a regenerative culture? Can we create this reality when our very monetary system is based upon debt? And not only is it based upon debt, think about the implications of an exponential growth of the cost of that money every single day because of the interest that we're paying on it being circulated. That equals the one key systemic driver to social and ecological destruction. Now, if we address monetary policy, we need to address this very form of the birth and the birthing of money into a system. It's not about how we spend it, lend it, or do something further along the line, literally how it's manifested. Now, Dennis and I and Jamie Walton, who's in the audience, have worked for many years on monetary reform from a national level. And of course, pushing something through a political system with all of the big, heavy interests that are around is a real challenging thing. But we have now new technology, which is overarching governments and national borders, and that's blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Now, at the moment, coins such as Bitcoin, the philosophy is really about hoarding, and it's about scarcity. And that's not what we're about. But we are about leveraging technologies, so we want to flip that too. And the opportunity of some of the people who have come in here, like Brian Weinberg and others, who are really looking at how we can monetize ecosystem services, how we can monetize soil carbon sequestration and literally issue a coin from there. So can you imagine leveraging cryptocoin and blockchain technologies to flip the greed mentality? The more money I want, the more I will restore the land, because the more coin that will issue. So I want to put some of these thinking towards you, because we are really lucky to be living in the times that we're living in. We have so much stress and so much tension on the system that people are ready to transform. We're hungry to look for a new world, and we have all of the technical skills, the wisdom and the insight to be able to apply that with the knowledge and understanding of how ecosystems work to bring into being new systems that service both humanity and the ecology. And so with that, I welcome you to this conference. I'm so humbled to be part of this community, and I really look forward to the dialogues ahead.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I never heard anyone before say climate change is a blessing, but now I actually see the point. Fantastic speech. Thank you so much. And next one is Denis Kucinich.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's always a hazard to follow my wife to the podium, because she often says many of the things that I wish that I would have said. But now that I'm given this opportunity, I want to thank Caux for the chance to speak to you, to thank Irina for making the arrangements, and Barbara, your keynote, I thought was